Thanks for joining us. You're watching ARIRANG News Break on this Tuesday, July 26th. I'm Handaeun in Seoul. In just about an hour, a huge foreign ministers meeting of 27 nations will begin in Laos, where a series of ASEAN meetings have taken place over the last 3 days. The ASEAN Regional Forum is the main event, and through the meeting, we're expecting to get a clearer picture of the current political landscape in the Asia-Pacific region. South Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se will also take part, and all 6 party member states, including North Korea, will sit down for the big diplomatic gathering. Minister Yoon is expected to send a strong message against North Korea's continuous nuclear and missile development, while his North Korean counterpart, Lee Yong-ho, will likely defend Pyongyang's actions. A joint statement is to be issued by the host country Laos after the meeting, but officials say it won't be all smooth sailing as member nations have conflicting views on a number of security issues. The North Korea's nuclear issue, along with the THAAD deployment to South Korea and the South China Sea dispute, are the main topics expected to be discussed during the forum. The government has submitted its proposal for a nearly $9.7 billion budget supplement to the National Assembly. Lawmakers will begin deliberations on the bill after Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-ahn delivers a speech laying out the details of the proposal on Wednesday. The government and the ruling Saenuri Party say the extra budget is focused on cushioning the impact of corporate restructuring, especially for the nation's ailing shipbuilding industry, and boosting job creation. But fierce debates between the ruling and opposition parties are expected, as the bill does not include funds for a free child care plan long sought by the opposition parties. The government hopes the bill will pass in early August so that it can begin spending the funds before September. The Korean economy got a slight bump in the second quarter on the back of government measures to boost spending. But that has far from wiped clean lingering concerns about the country falling into a low growth trap, as the pace of expansion still remains below 1%. Kim Min-ji reports.
Korea's GDP in the second quarter now shows the country has been stuck in 0% range growth for the third straight quarter, adding to concerns about the strength of the economy. But there are some moderate signs of improvement. In its estimates, the Bank of Korea says the country's GDP expanded 0.7% in the April to June period from the previous quarter. This marks a slight pickup from the 0.5% expansion posted in the first 3 months of the year.
Domestic consumption contributed to the GDP largely compared to the previous quarter. Private spending and construction investment contributed by 0.4%, while facilities investment also turned positive.
Construction of facilities investment in fact led the growth, rising 2.9% respectively. Private consumption and exports also returned to positive territory, both rising 0.9% from the previous quarter. But with growth figures still feeble and uncertainties such as the possible fallout from Brexit, as well as the government's ongoing corporate restructuring drive abound, the Bank of Korea recently cut its growth outlook to 2.7% for this year, down 0.1 percentage point than its earlier forecast in April. This comes despite the central bank slashing its key rate to a record low of 1.25% in June, and the government's aggressive stimulus package, which includes a supplementary budget worth some $9.7 billion. Some analysts have been skeptical about the effects these stimulus measures will have in propping up the growth rate. Kim Min-ji, ARIRANG News.
Over in the U.S., the Democratic Party's National Convention is underway in Philadelphia. Things got off to a rough start amid an email leak controversy that threatened to torpedo the party's message of unity, as a star-studded lineup of speakers was brought out to pull things back together. Hwang Ho-jun reports.
I hereby call the 47th Quadrennial Democratic National Convention to order.
The Democratic Party kicked off its 4-day national convention on Monday with a star-studded lineup of guest speakers that included Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and First Lady Michelle Obama. The theme of the evening was United Together.
Got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
But things got off to a rough start amid the fallout from a recent email leak that added a touch of irony to the proceedings. The party has been embroiled in a controversy ever since the release on Friday of 20,000 emails appearing to show party officials working to sabotage the Sanders campaign in favor of Clinton. The FBI has since opened an investigation into the matter, and a recent poll suggests that the ongoing scandal may have dented Clinton's poll numbers. A CNN ORC poll released Monday gave Trump a 3-point lead over Clinton at 48 to 45%. Disappointed Sanders supporters disrupted the early part of the convention, repeatedly booing at Clinton's name. There were also speakers who said that continuing to oppose Clinton was hurting the party.
I love Bernie just as much as the next person, but this is our country, for Christ's sake. Not voting for Hillary is a sure win for Donald Trump.
Ahead of the convention, the party laid out its platform. The document stands in stark contrast to the Republican platform, especially on domestic policy, but there are some similarities when it comes to foreign policy. While vowing to deepen America's relationships in the Pacific, including with South Korea, the party calls North Korea, quote, the most repressive regime on the planet, run by a sadistic dictator. The document also says the country must review its past trade agreements with other nations. The party is scheduled to formally nominate former Secretary of State Clinton as its candidate for the White House on Tuesday, and she will deliver an acceptance speech on Thursday. Hwang Ho-jun, ARIRANG News.
And that's all from me. Keep you tuned to Arirang for more domestic and global headlines throughout the day. Thank you for watching.